Hey guys, it's Chris with Double Eagle Gunworks, and we're out here on the range today, and we're going to be using the HK45 to test out some 45 ACP ammo that I'm working on. I'm using tight group. I'm using CFE Pistol Powder, and then 230 grain round nose bullet for the cartridge itself. Got 5 different powder levels in here, and got the bullets marked so that I know which powder is which, so we can see what it looks like once I get the cases back up off the ground. Okay, we'll start out with the lowest level, and then we'll keep working our way up. Okay, those were running right at 850 feet per second average. We'll save that one. Go to a new group. That primer looks okay. No squishing out of the around the primer, so the powder level still good. So let's load up the next one. Okay, 861 on that one. Will still look fine. Let's do the next one. Okay, so this is the middle level of the powder charges. Light primer strike, I guess. Let's see if this one will fire this time. Just not been a light primer strike the first go around.
You gonna explain that?
Yeah, so on some semi-autos, well, for that matter, any handgun, you can have what's called a light primer strike, and when you look at the setting or the indentation on the primer, it's just a very light strike, so it didn't hit the primer hard enough to set it off. And usually with those, you can put them back in there, fire it again, and if it goes off the second time, then it was just a light primer strike. If it doesn't fire the second time, then it's going to be a bad primer. So let's try the next round.
Was that the fault of the gun or the primer? if it's just a light strike?
It was probably more just the gun. Either I didn't, the trigger didn't release exactly the same, or something. It's hard to say exactly what would have caused it. Okay, now we're ready. Hey, that was just a little over, about not quite 910 feet per second on that one. Yep, those still look okay. So let's do the last ones with the maximum charge. The recoil is still not bad. It is a 45, so it's going to have some recoil to it, but it's not bad. Should have taken that off first. Okay, last group. And I didn't. Forgot to hit start. Oh well. So we didn't get the measurement on that one. I knew I was going to do that eventually. So we started out average on the 45, just under 850 feet per second, and on the last group that we measured, which was next to the last highest level, it was up to just under 910 feet per second, and each one went up 10 to 20 feet per second grouping. So just as a ballpark, I'd say that last one would have probably come in somewhere around 920 to 930 feet per second, which is pretty normal for a 45. So this powder combination seems to work pretty well for the 45. I've used this powder in 9mm before, and didn't seem to get a whole lot of speed out of it. It wasn't quite as fast as the normal 9mm ammo that you buy at the store is. So it we'll see. But on the 45, it seems to work out pretty good. Okay, guys, we're going to do the accuracy testing now with the HK45, and we've done a full review of this gun before, so you can check that out on the YouTube channel to get a more in-depth look at this gun. But it's a very nice shooting gun, pretty easy recoiling as far as 45 goes. But we've got 5 different cartridges that we're going to be looking at as far as the powder levels in the charges, and we're going to start out with the lightest and then work up to the maximum powder charge. And we're looking at we're using CFE Pistol Powder, and then a 230 grain round nose bullet on these. So we'll start out in the middle with the lightest powder charge, and then we'll work our way around the target for the other loads. So this is the minimum powder charge here. Okay. Not bad as far as recoil goes for a 45. Okay. We'll shoot the A on the bottom, my bottom left corner for this next round. And this gun has suppressor height sights, so I have a tendency to shoot a little bit lower than where I'm intending to shoot with this thing.
What happened there?
Well, on this gun, you have the option of being able to fire the gun again if the round doesn't go off the first time and you just hear the click. I don't know whether something's acting up on the gun or whether these primers that I'm using just take a little bit harder hit to set them off. But the two clicks that you heard on that one were the rounds not going off the first time. And with this gun, the way the trigger is set up on this one, you can fire the gun and it'll shoot. But if it doesn't fire, and so it doesn't recoil and eject that round, then you've got the option of going right back and pulling the trigger again to be able to try to have a second strike on that same primer. If I can find those rounds, yep, this is, got lucky the first go around. You can actually see two primer strikes. Yep.
So what do you do about this problem?
Well, if it keeps going, then you'd have to get the gun checked out to see if the firing pin is not actuating properly, or if it's nothing with the gun, then it may be just bad primers. Okay, those light primer strikes that I had on a couple of rounds there, there's a couple of other things that could be happening there. The primer itself may have been set a little bit deeper into the primer pocket than some of the other ones, because these are reloads that I've just made myself. So it may have had a couple of those primers that got pushed a little bit further up into the primer pocket on the round. So I may need to back my set point off on when I'm putting the primers in. It may be pushing them in just a little bit further than flush with the top of the head of the case. They look like they're flush, but we'll have to see if we have any more problems with any of these next three batches here, and then we'll take a look at it later down the road. So let's go ahead and load up the middle section and shoot it. Okay, let's shoot the middle level on this one, and we'll be going for the B in the lower right hand corner. Yep, definitely going to have to check that setting on the primer. Okay, for this next to the last round, we'll shoot the right hand corner, or right hand shoulder of the target. My left, target's right. Okay. And for the last batch, we'll go to the target's left-hand shoulder. Okay. So it looks like I need to work on my primer setting on when I'm pressing the primers into the cases, because that was at least 1 to 2 of just about every one of the these last ones that I did, that it was either a light primer strike or it didn't get enough of a strike on it to set off the round. So I'm thinking I may be having the primer set a little bit too deep in the primer pocket. But let's go take a look at the target and see what the target looks like down here. Okay, so let's take a look at it here. This was the first batch here with the lightest powder load. So it had 3 here, and I can't remember whether there was any light primer strikes on that one or not. I have to go back and look at the film, but if not, I pulled a couple down there. I think that one may have been my first shot anyway, and I got my aim back up a little bit on this one. This was the next round down here, and actually had 2 sitting on top of each other on that one, so it's not bad. And I know there were 2 light primer strikes on this one, so normally when I'm shooting that one double action, I have a tendency to shoot a little bit lower with it. Same thing over here on B, just spread it out a little bit too much. Now the 4th one over here, not bad grouping, so had a couple really close, and then a few other ones there. And then for the maximum powder charge, had 3 pretty close together, and then a couple of down here from those light primer strikes. Probably pull those 2 were those shots there. So got to work on my technique. I think a little bit on getting the primer set properly in the pocket of the cartridge, just so that we don't keep having this problem, because if I tried to let a student use these rounds and their gun didn't have the functionality that mine does, being able to pull the trigger again, then they'd have to eject that round and start over again. So I don't want to put anybody through that when they're trying to pass their CWP test. So just need to work on that a little bit before I let anybody start using those 45 rounds. If you liked the video, like and subscribe down at the bottom, and we'll check you next time. Talk to you later.